He was just standing there in the snow, not moving, not speaking, just watching. At first, I thought maybe he was lost, but then he smiled. And I swear to God, my stomach dropped. Emma Clarke, 911 call transcript, January 12, 2019. Maplewood, Minnesota, January. The kind of cold that bites at your lungs and makes every sound feel sharper. It was just after 8:45 in the morning when 29-year-old nurse Emma Clarke saw him standing at the far edge of her driveway. A hood pulled low, hands shoved deep in his pockets, his breath visible in the freezing air. She opened the front door halfway and called out, "Can I help you?" He didn't answer. He just smiled. Something in that smile felt wrong. Emma closed the door, locked it, picked up her phone, and called 911. By the time police arrived, the man was gone. They told her it was probably nothing. It wasn't. Emma was born in 1989, right here in Maplewood. The oldest of two girls, she was fiercely protective of her younger sister Lily. She taught her to ride a bike, defended her from bullies, and stayed up late to keep her company through college all-nighters. Friends said she had a warmth about her hazel eyes that made you feel safe, a smile that told you she believed in the best in people. She worked as a nurse at St. John's Hospital, taking on exhausting shifts because she loved helping people. But her most important role was being a mother to her 6-year-old daughter, Sophie. She packed her lunches with handwritten notes, read bedtime stories every night, and Sophie once told her teacher, "My mom is my superhero. She fixes people." 2 weeks after the driveway incident, Emma saw him again, this time at the grocery store. He approached her, introduced himself as Ryan Keller, claimed he grew up in Maplewood but had been away for years, and said he recognized her from high school, though she didn't remember him. Clean-shaven now, dressed neatly, he didn't seem as frightening. Over the next month, she saw him in several places, the coffee shop, the pharmacy, even Sophie's school pickup. By March, he asked her out for coffee. She said yes. But from the beginning, there were things that didn't add up. Ryan never spoke about his family, said he worked from home but wouldn't explain doing what. Somehow he seemed to know where she'd been, what shift she'd worked, even Sophie's favorite ice cream flavor. When she asked, he brushed it off, saying, "It's a small town, Emma. People talk." One night she spotted his car parked across from her house, engine running, headlights off. He said he was just in the neighborhood. By summer, Emma had begun pulling away. She told friends he was too intense and stopped answering his texts. That's when the messages changed from friendly to desperate, from desperate to threatening. "You can't ignore me forever. We're meant to be, Emma. Don't make me come find you." She blocked his number, changed her routines, but he still appeared at the hospital parking lot, at Sophie's school, in grocery store aisles. On August 3, 2019, Emma filed a harassment complaint. Police warned him to stay away, but the visits didn't stop. January 23, 2020. Emma had just finished a double shift. On the drive home, she called Lily and said she felt like she was being followed. At 11:17 p.m., security cameras caught her car pulling into the driveway. The porch light clicked on. She stepped out with her work bag. From the shadows at the side of the house, Ryan Keller emerged. The next 90 seconds are unaccounted for. Neighbors reported a scream, a thud, then silence. When police arrived, her car door was still open, the engine running, her bag in the snow with its contents scattered. There were signs of a struggle, but Emma was gone. Detectives quickly turned their attention to Ryan. His phone records placed him near her home at the time she disappeared. A search of his apartment revealed a wall covered in photos of Emma, Sophie, even Lily. And then there was the journal. Dozens of entries written as if he and Emma were living together, others describing plans for the night she vanished. But with nobody, charges would be harder to prove. Investigators dug deeper and found a disturbing pattern of stalking charges in 3 other states. An ex-girlfriend in Illinois said he once broke into her apartment and waited for her in the dark. Another woman in Iowa described him as a man who doesn't take no for an answer. Somehow he had always escaped serious punishment, until now. On February 14, 2020, Ryan Keller was arrested and charged with kidnapping and first-degree murder. The trial began in September 2021. Prosecutors described him as an obsessive predator who escalated from harassment to murder. The defense claimed there was no proof Emma was dead, that she had chosen to disappear. The jury didn't believe it. After 9 hours of deliberation, they found him guilty on all counts, life without parole. But Emma's body has never been found. Sophie now lives with Lily, who turned her grief into action, pushing for stricter stalking laws. Her work led to Emma's Law, a bill making repeat stalking offenses a felony in Minnesota. Still, the story isn't over. Just months ago, a hiker in northern Wisconsin found something half buried in snow, a silver locket. Inside was a photo of Sophie, the same locket Emma wore the night she vanished, and it was found over 200 miles from where Ryan Keller lived. If he's in prison, how did it get there? This case still holds unanswered questions, for Sophie, for Lily, and maybe for all of us. What do you think happened? Was someone else involved? Or is Ryan still pulling strings from behind bars? When the silver locket surfaced in northern Wisconsin, investigators couldn't ignore it. Found by a hiker in late February, buried just beneath the snow along a remote logging trail, the tiny clasp still worked. Inside, a small photo of Sophie Clarke, Emma's daughter, perfectly preserved. It was the same necklace Emma had been wearing the night she disappeared. The discovery was over 200 miles from Ryan Keller's last known residence before his arrest, and he'd been in prison for more than 3 years. If he didn't put it there, who did? Detectives immediately sent the locket for forensic testing. Snowmelt made it nearly impossible to recover prints, but on the chain's clasp, technicians found traces of synthetic fibers consistent with the kind of gloves used in outdoor winter gear. The fibers didn't match anything seized from Ryan Keller's apartment. In fact, they didn't match anything connected to him at all. That raised one terrifying possibility. Someone else had handled Emma's necklace long after she vanished. Investigators began combing through Ryan's contacts from before his arrest, phone logs, social media messages, even letters he'd received in prison. One name surfaced more than once: Daniel Brooks. He was an old acquaintance of Ryan's from Illinois, with a record for burglary and trespassing. On paper, Brooks and Emma had no connection, but a dive into old cell tower data revealed that his phone had pinged just 3 miles from Emma's home the night she disappeared. And here's where it gets worse. Those same records showed Brooks traveling north 2 days later, his phone going dark near a stretch of wilderness in northern Wisconsin, the same region where the locket was found. When confronted, Brooks denied knowing Emma and claimed he hadn't spoken to Ryan in years. But surveillance footage from the prison contradicted him, showing Brooks visiting Keller in 2021, just months before the trial. Investigators now believe the two men could have worked together, but to prove it, they needed more. A search warrant for Brooks's property turned up something chilling: an old metal tackle box buried in the shed behind his house. Inside, women's jewelry, several cell phones, and a stack of printed photographs. Emma's face appeared in 3 of them, taken from a distance, months before she met Ryan Keller. It was now clear that Emma had been watched for far longer than anyone realized. Detectives began to question whether Ryan had been the mastermind at all, or whether Brooks had been pulling strings from the shadows, using Ryan as a distraction. But just as they prepared to arrest him, Brooks vanished. His truck was found abandoned outside a bus station in Duluth. Inside the glove compartment, police found a folded sheet of paper. On it, coordinates: a remote stretch of woodland near the Wisconsin-Michigan border. A team was sent out immediately, and what they found out there changed everything. Half buried beneath years of fallen leaves was an old camping tent. Inside were remnants of clothing, a woman's hairbrush, and a faded hospital ID badge. The name on it: Emma Clarke. Forensics are still testing the items, but this tent raises a disturbing question: was Emma alive for some time after the night she disappeared? And if so, where is she now? This is no longer just about Ryan Keller. It's about a possible accomplice who has slipped through law enforcement's grasp. And as the search intensifies in the woods along the state line, a new threat emerges. Someone has started leaving anonymous tips. claiming they've seen a woman matching Emma's description just weeks ago. Could she still be alive? Or is this another cruel game from someone who knows far too much? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to see part 2, where we follow the trail of that locket, like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this story is far from over.